Sec 1 Chapter 5, 5.2a Part 2 Simple Equations in One Unknown. In this part of the chapter, we'll be solving fractional equations which have more than one fractional term on either side of the equation. And the skills that we're going to use is to express these fractional terms as one single fraction and do cross multiplication. Example number 1, solve the following equation. Now, what is the skill that we are going to use in this case? We're going to use the skill to combine, express the fraction as one single fraction. So in order to do that, we need to try to make the denominators the same. So this is actually x over 1. So I need to multiply by 4. And make the denominator, the LCM, to be 4. So that I'll have 4x over here plus x to be equals to 15. Now simplifying, I'll get 5x over 4 to be equals to 15. And we cross multiply over, I'll get 4 times 15. So 5x equals to 60, and therefore x will be equals to 12. Have you gotten the answer? Exercise 2. Solve the following equation. Now, what is the skill that we're going to use here in this part of the chapter? We will learn to express the two fractions as one single fraction. So if we were to express it as one single fraction, we need to make the denominators the same. What is the LCM in this case? I'll try to make it into the denominator 6. And I will get a numerator 4x minus 3x. And is equals to 7. Simplifying the equation, we'll get cross multiplying, I'll get x to be equals to 42. Solve the following equation. Again, we are still going to combine both of them into one single fraction over on the left hand side. So what will be the lowest common multiple? And the one on the right hand side will also combine it to one single fraction. What is the lowest common multiple on this side? So the LCM here is 12. I'll need to multiply by 4 and here multiply by 3. So that I will get 8y to be plus 15y equals to, and now I'm going to take this to be 1 and multiply by 6 to the numerator and the denominator. And the one single fraction will be over 6, y minus 48. Now, simplifying our fraction, we have the following. Cross multiplying 12 times y minus 48 and cross over 6 times 23y. What do we do with the brackets now? Expand 12 groups of y, subtract 12 groups of 48. And now, put all the y terms together on one side. You'll be able to get the solution. Simplifying the equation. How to get 1 unit of y? Divide by 126. That will give us y to be equals to negative 32/7. Have you gotten the answer? Next, please try the following question on your own before checking with the answers. Have you gotten the answer? X to be equals to negative 14. Up next, let us solve question D. Now take note that D, we need to combine these two terms together. There's a negative sign and there's two terms over here. So we should add brackets in this case to help us take note of the sign and make the correct sign. Because negative multiplied to the whole bracket can change the sign. Now what will be the denominator that we want? The LCM will be 35. Now what do I need to multiply? 2t. 7. And what do I need to multiply to 7? So 5. So I get a total of 70. Subtract 5 times of t plus 2. So try not to do the expansion first. Be careful of the negative sign. So negative times positive will give you a negative number. So please take note of the sign. Now the denominator is 35. We're going to expand and simplify our numerator. So 70 minus 5t, negative 5 times 2 minus 10. So please take note, this is the trap. Negative 10 should be the correct answer. Now after that we simplify and we'll be able to get our answers over here. 7t minus 5t, that will give you 2t and minus 10 to be equals to 2. Now what we can do, we can cross multiply over. So 35 times 2 gives you 70. And 1 times this expression here will be still 2t minus 10. Now, what minus 10 will give you 70? So it will be 70 plus 10. So 2t is 80. What is t? 40. Have you gotten the answer? Let us go through exercise 2, question E. Now this question can be very tricky. Take note that there is subtraction and there's two terms and two terms over here. So we need to add brackets to help us take note of the sign, okay, that we're going to have. So now what is the lowest common multiple? And what do I need to multiply to each of the fractions? I'll multiply a 5 and I'll multiply a 2 over here. So be very careful of the negative sign. 5 times of 9p plus 1. Try not to expand your working first. Remember, this is subtract 2 times of 5p minus 6. Now let's do our expansion of the numerator carefully. Take note, negative times negative number will become a positive number. So this is the trapped down here, right? So 5 times 9p will give you 4p plus 5. Negative 2 times 5p, negative 10p. Negative 2 times negative 6, what does that give you? You get positive 12. Okay, this is positive 12. And then now we can simplify our numerator. 35p plus 17. And we can cross multiply. We'll get 35p plus 17 to be equals to 10. Now I believe you can solve the remaining part of the question. So 35p is equals to negative 7. If you're unsure of the calculations, please use the calculator. And therefore, 1 unit of p will be negative 1 over 5 in the simplified form. Have you gotten the answer? Let's try one more question similar to the previous one. Again, we have two terms here. There's a subtraction with the two terms. Please make sure you add brackets to take note of the sign. Now the denominator, the LCM will be 6. We're not going to multiply anything to the first fraction, but then we'll multiply by 3. Negative 3 times of 4 minus 3y. Please take note of the sign. Okay, this is minus 3 times the whole of 4 minus 3y. So you will get expansion. Take note of the sign. Negative 3 times negative 3y will give you so firstly we get negative 12 and this will be plus 9y to be equals to negative 3. Simplifying our equation, our fraction, we get 16y minus 14. And now we do a cross multiplication. And cross multiplying, we'll be able to get our solution soon. So we're going to keep 16y over here, positive, and shift negative 4y over. and y will be equals to negative 1 over 4. Have you gotten the answer? Now for this question, please try the following question on your own and check the answers after this. Take note of the sign. Have you gotten the answer? Now I'll go through the one last question over here, question 2H. Similarly, we're going to add brackets and take note of the negative sign. Be careful of the negative sign. And we're going to combine these two fractions into one single fraction. So the LCM will be 12. So multiplying by 4 to the first number, I'll have 4 bracket x minus 7. Subtract x minus 5. And this is 2x minus 27 over 15. Please take note, this is a subtraction of x minus 5 with the brackets. So if we were to expand out the brackets, it will become 4x minus 28. This will become minus x. And this is negative of negative 5. So it become plus 5. Be careful of the sign, changing the sign. Then we get the fraction over here. Simplifying our fractions, we are left with 3x minus 23 to be equals to the other fraction. And we can do a cross multiplication to help us find the answer. 12 cross multiply over to 2x minus 27. and 15 cross over to 3x minus 23. We will get a total of 45x minus 345 to be equals to 24x minus 324. Rearranging our terms, 45 over here, x subtract 24x will be equals to negative 324 plus 345. And simplifying, we'll get this to be 21x is equals to 21, and therefore x is equals to 1. Have you gotten the answer? Up next, exercise 3a. Now, given the following formula, find the value of f when c is equals to 35. So now I know that the value for c is 35, so I'll replace it with the number, and this is 5 over 9 f minus 32. So technically this whole portion actually belongs to the numerator. Now I have a denominator over here and the denominator is 9. What I can do a cross multiplication. Okay, and 9 times 35 will give you 315. And this part over here will still be 5 times f minus 32 multiplied with 1. So now we have brackets. We're going to expand our brackets. And we'll get 5f minus 32 times 5, 160. And this one over here will be 315. Now I want to keep 5f to be positive. I have 315, the original citizen over here. Now this one is negative 160. Come over, you become positive 160. And then 315 plus 160 will give you 475 is equals to 5m. Now how much will be 1 unit? Dividing by 5. So therefore, f will be 475 divided by 5 to give you 95. Have you gotten the answer? Exercise 3b. Given the formula E equals to half mb squared. Now there's no symbol over here. What does all this means? This means a multiplication. Find the value of m when E is equals to 160. And m is now, I don't know what's m. And the value of v is 8. And I need to square my 8. So 8 square. So 160 is half times m times 8 times 8, 64. Now what can I do? I can try to calculate this part over here first. And that will give me half times 64, 32m. And this is 160. So how much will m be? Divide by 32 on both sides. M will be 160 divided by 32, giving me an answer of 5. Have you gotten the answer? Now we have come to the end of this part of the chapter 5.2a. Now our main goals of this part chapter was that we are able to solve fractional equations which have more than one fractional term on either side of the equation. Now some of the skills that we are going to use or focus mainly on is to change the fractional, to combine two fractional terms together as one single fraction. And after that, we try to do a cross multiplication to help us solve for our equation. Now, please try to do the following reflections on the success criteria page, and then hopefully that you have learned something useful in this lesson. We'll see you for the next lesson on exercise 5.2 part B.